The Mantis Blades from Cyberpunk are technology from supposedly 56 years in the future. This time on Jairus, we see if I can make it a reality now. These servos are going to make the arms move to make this lift up and down, and they are going to get mounted somewhere around here, and they have this little turny bit that connects to them, and I need to turn this into a pulley that will be connected to the high strength lines that run up the arm down here and then connect at the front to this movement arm. Before I even start to make those pulleys, I need spacers for the bearings, because once this actually gets tightened down, it will be squishing stuff that needs to swivel against things that don't swivel, and then it won't move. None of this stuff is a size that I can just go get from the store, so I have to make all of my bearing washers, spacers, everything. Here we go. This is the bearing that I'm making spacers for right now. The inside is connected to the carbon fiber arm piece, and then the movement arms are connected to the outside. So in order for me to bolt it on, I need spacers that only touch the inside of the bearing. I need to bring this down below 10 millimeters, so I'm starting to get there. The washers I made before are thicker. These are thinner because there's different amounts of space between the bearings, so gotta make another set. Because of my lack of planning in this project, I have 1/4-inch bolts at the top, 6 millimeter bolts at the bottom, so I had to make another set that fit the top ones. Now I have my spacers for those bearings, at least some of them. I'll probably have to make more. I also made all of these washers for my pulley pieces, and I put blue Dykem on them so that I can see them, because they were so shiny I couldn't tell what I was looking at when I was looking through the other hole at them. The only difference with these was I used a hole cutter to make the washer instead of cutting it out and then sanding it back. The bearing is pretty tight because it's the right size for that bolt. The size of the bit that's in the hole cutter makes it a little loose. So if I put the bearing in there, it solves that issue, because this has to get attached to the arm, and I want it to be supported on the bolt as well, not floppy. So I gotta drill that hole out so that the bearing fits, and then I can put my stack on and attach it to make my pulley. Still works. And now with that last little tiny washer on there, it'll contact this outer washer. The arm and the pulley will ride entirely on the bearings, not against the washer and the arm on the inside. But I'm not 100% certain that I want to go through with the plan on how I'm going to attach all the pulley pieces to the arm. So I'm gonna let it marinate for a little bit while I work on the mount blocks for the servos. I need to drill holes and tap those. Sometimes you gotta switch your task so you can figure out what your task is. Big chunks of aluminum. They have a little bit of curve to them, but I left the excess down here at the bottom. That way when I fit them to the arm, I can trim these back to fit around the arm just right, and they'll just get bolted in. I have the rough mounts put on the servos now, and that means it's time to make that pulley be part of the arm on the front. And I'm still not positive that my plan is what I want my plan to be, but I need to get it done, so that's what I'm gonna do. These 3 washers that I made are going to make up the pulley section, but obviously that one is way too thin, and with my welding skill and this being aluminum, there's no way I can weld this to attach it, but it needs to be permanently attached to this arm so it can make it move. But I also can't just glue it because there's gonna be a fair amount of force on this to lift it up. But if I glue it and stick a piece of metal through it to pin it in place, I think it'll hold. So I'm gonna drill some holes down through these plates, but then you can see here, I didn't leave myself a whole lot of meat. This had to be trimmed back pretty far to clear the arm so that it has full range of motion. So I need to be very careful to actually get some of that without getting too close to the bearings so that I don't have any strength left here, and this separates whenever I chop stuff with it. That's why I'm so worried about this part. Just gonna have to go for it and drill some holes. Pinned. Now I need to take it all back apart, put some epoxy in there, and put it all back together and grind the pins off. All my parts are ready, and this is gonna be difficult because I'm gonna use 5-minute epoxy. I'm gonna have to work really fast, and I'm gonna have to be really careful to make sure I don't get any epoxy to the inside where the bearings are at. There it is. Now I gotta wait for that to set and see if it worked. I marked out where the servo is gonna sit, and even though I have to remove some of the spots that are making this as strong as it is, I think it's gonna be fine because this thing is super strong. But I'm gonna make it flat, that way the servo can sit just a little bit tighter to the arm, and it should make it easier for me to get the mount points mounted. Nice and flush. Getting bored here. There we go. Pins are ground back, pulleys installed, the arms put back on the whole rig, and the servo is installed. So now, all I need to do is get my string guides that are connecting this pulley to this pulley installed on the arm. That way I can route the movement up to here to make this do its thingy, and do the other side.
The next day.
So last night, while my cameraman was sleeping, like normal people do in the middle of the night, I couldn't stop thinking about trying to work on this, so I came down and I got some stuff done, and I got all the lines run on this side, but I didn't do it yet on this side. And I can just replace one screw for the anchor back here, but I need to drill a hole and tap it for the anchor up front, and then put the guide bolts in. The strings are attached, and it's only string, but it is 300-pound string. Hopefully it doesn't stretch too much. if it does stretch or if it doesn't want to go, then I've reached a point in this project where I've got some serious problems, but we're gonna plug them in. This is the most difficult possible orientation the way it's set up right now, because lifting out vertically is gonna be the most weight. It's very little leverage. Here we go. Oh, it didn't like it. Does it need a little help? It's sticking because of those bolts. What are they doing? They don't like it. Where do they want to be? There. Holy cow. No wonder they were freaking out. I think the string is stretching since it's slowly lowering, but we can try it like this and watch it go. Okay, well, it works, kind of, but I thought the 300-pound string was the ticket, and I don't think it is after that little test just now. This side stretched out considerably after the first test. The other side was already pre-stretched from me trying to move it around a little bit when I was doing this stuff, so maybe if I tighten this up, it'll work. Attempt number 2. Here we go. Sideways gives me a better chance at victory at this point, which I could use win. So here we go. Oh no, one of the guides came off. Well, it works. I'm not sure if these have the power to lift it up on their own or not. I could make the pulleys, attempt to make the pulleys at the front larger. The biggest issue is this string is stretching out like crazy. I don't think this is made for Mantis Blades because it's got a fish on it. Might have to go to steel cables, but it moves around under its own power, even though it doesn't really like it very much. I don't know whether to be happy or sad at this point. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching. Subscribe and turn on notifications if you want to see if I can get this thing to actually work, or if it ends up being a project that gets scrapped. See you next time.